We're recording. So tonight, we all know who our special guest is, Darin Olien. He is the co-creator of Shakeology and what I think is like Beachbody's secret weapon, the Ultimate Reset. And it's one of my all-time favorite programs. I've done it like 6 times now. So some things that I think you guys know about him, but he's the author of Superlife, which I read when it first came out, and I loved how he tied in. It's the 5 forces that make you healthy, fit, and eternally awesome. But it's like the physiological stuff, the health stuff that we need to know, but the mindset, the spirit, the body stuff that goes all together. And he's kind of known as our ingredient hunter. You guys have seen the videos of him literally like foraging through the forest, looking for the best possible quality ingredients. But something I personally respect and admire about you, Darin, that it's not just the work that you do, it's the passion behind it. And I think that's something that applies to all of us in what we do. We all can come out here and sell this awesome product that we have, Shakeology, the Reset, all these other programs. But your passion behind it is what's going to drive your business forward. And that's why I think Darin's a perfect person to have on this call tonight, because we all use and love Shakeology, but do we really have that passion for it like he does? And I think when we hear from him tonight, he's, a nutrition expert. He can break down those ingredients and he can help us really learn how to leverage our businesses using these incredible products that he's created. So Darin, I'm going to let you say a few words here, and then I have some questions if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, I'm stoked to be here and imbue a little of my passion if you guys want any. And this is, a labor of love for me. This beautiful kind of package of Shakeology that's got a lot of power in there. So we'll get into it.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you taking time to be here with us tonight. So I think the first question, let's focus on Shakeology for a second. The power of it. I want you to just totally unleash on us and tell us why this is the shake of all shakes. I mean, everyone on this call, we use it, we love it, but help us understand why it's so unique. We're constantly getting that, oh, well, I'm using this, so I don't really need that. But help us understand why this is the shake.
Yeah. And this is a big thing, which is why you can't find that out by looking on the back of a bag. Ingredient might have the similar ingredient or the same ingredient. And this is where kind of 15 years of behind the scenes in the fields, in processing facilities around the world, where I really started to see that very few people, i.e. companies, really know what's going on, which is scary and kind of naive with a lot of them too, because for me, when I started formulating, I didn't think it was ethical just in my own nature to not understand the botanicals and then not to understand them from where they came, how they're processed, and ultimately how they get into a product. So when I was early on formulating, even before Beachbody, it didn't make sense to me. And the more that I saw, the more horrified I was, because in third world countries, which a lot of these things come from, they just don't have the same standards that we would need by the FDA and Institute of Medicine and all of these things. So really, and then I'm getting to the Shakeology part, is that coming in to the formulation of Shakeology, that was part of the deal. So that was part of my deal. And of course, Isabel resonated with that and supported that, to which Carl had to, meaning that if he wanted to hire us to do it, then this is the way it had to be, because I didn't want to be involved in something that we didn't have transparency on. And so, so really the difference is that we back up those ingredients by seeing with our own eyes, right? So our audit teams, our quality assurance teams, our research and development teams are busy, some heading to those countries and testing and seeing and auditing facilities around the world, spending millions of dollars and a huge amount of time doing that, which, it's kind of a running joke in the operations and quality team that it's a lot of work to keep Shakeology in existence in a high quality way, because we have so many ingredients. We have people flying all over the world making sure that that is what it's supposed to be. And then we have research and development testing to make sure that just because one product has camu and the other person says, well, I take this other one, oftentimes, and I can't say across the board, but let me just say that the majority of companies just don't know where that is coming from. They haven't tested themselves. And they just maybe even naivete, they just don't even, hey, we get this white piece of paper and it's the same thing. And really, if you're not deciding what you're testing for, you don't really have an idea of what you're truly getting. So we spend tons of time and resources. So I want to say something is this isn't sexy what I'm saying to you, and I get that, but it's really important as the major difference behind Shakeology and any other product out there. We back up our stuff, right? We test it, we audit, we do those things. So I just want to say that, because that is one of the major differences of us and anyone else. Okay, so the rubber meets the road. When that pretty bag shows up, we have tested those botanicals to make sure that they're what they're supposed to be. Okay, so the other thing is, what I would say is, people ask me all the time, like a kind of an elevator pitch of Shakeology, and I often, it centers around the idea that Shakeology, by Isabel and I, we were really clear that this was providing missing links to our modern day stressful world of nutrient poor food, right? We have abundance of food, but it's nutrient poor food and nutrition. So Shakeology was really filling in the gaps of what we all need to live optimally with some of the greatest botanicals in the world that have been used, some of which have been used for thousands of years, providing us with the important things, not the macro and the micro and getting enough carbs and enough fats. And yes, that's important, but really it's about these botanicals providing the cellular nutrition, the micronutrients, the phytonutrients, the cellular nourishment that we really need. Because it comes down to this, and I've said it in my book, if your cells are starved and unhealthy, you add that up over time and you will be unhealthy and you will start to gather chronic problems, right? So it is our attempt to gather the botanicals from around the world, step out of the way, and deliver that in a way that we all need. And I'm that person that, eats fresh vegetables, tons of plants, some of the best in the world, and yet still, I argue that we need superfoods. We need, and what are those? They're nutrient-dense foods. Calorie for calorie, they're providing nutrients and nourishment on a cellular level that we absolutely need, okay? With stress, requires the body to have more nutrients, and with poor quality and kind of toxic food, water, air, the body needs more nutrients. And plus, our food is not the same, and we've known this since the early 1900s. The government knew that our soils were depleted here in America and our foods are depleted. So even if you're eating the best that you can, the insurance policy is really getting those superfoods in, and so that is the theos of what we set out to have Shakeology be. And that is, you look at these ingredients. I challenge all of you to maybe take Shazandra, right? Take Shazandra or take Chaga. Go look it up. Go do your own study. You don't have to become nutrition experts, but I want you to understand the power here. And we have so many amazing botanicals in here, 7, 8, 9 different types of some of my favorite adaptogens in the world. And that's helping the body restore itself and deal with stress on such a powerful level that if you start to look, just spend 10 minutes for the next couple of days and do a Google search and read a study on some of these botanicals and chaga, reishi, moringa, which is technically not an adaptogen, but incredible ingredient, ashwagandha, astragalus, all of these things are just so powerful that when taken on a daily basis, and this is really important, taken on a daily basis adds to the strength and the constitution of your life and your body. And this is not Carl as the marketing, right? Carl is a marketer and he's incredible and he believes in what we have set out to do. I am telling you from a health perspective. So adding these things into your life, again, go look at some of the stuff and then you come back and argue with me that taking these things on a daily basis is a bad idea, right? So anyway, I'm kind of going off on some tangents here, but that's, I want you to understand that this is not, Isabel and I have dedicated our lives to this stuff. I just got back from Brazil, 2 weeks in the savannah of Brazil. Like, this is my life. And I would have been gone a long time ago if Carl and the whole company didn't support this incredible opportunity in keeping this shake alive in the way that it could and should. Because there's many opportunities along the road that you would never know the difference, but you could easily have the same product without the standards in place. And that just simply wasn't going to happen. And that's the major difference of the type of company you're dealing with, right? So Beachbody is set that, so everyone working for Beachbody knows that that's true, that we won't scamper on quality and we will always do our best to make sure that every botanical is what it's supposed to be. So anyway, go ahead, shoot me another question.
You can go off on tangents anytime.
Okay.
This is all good. Like exactly what we're looking for, and that passion that you have for it is both intoxicating and contagious. So no problem with that.
Nice.
So you're talking about all these incredible things and the deficit that so many of us as Americans have because we're not getting the proper nutrients. But most of us are living blind. Like, we don't even realize it. Thank God we've been introduced to Shakeology, and the people on this call understand and are now, through your help, understanding even at a higher level the importance of this stuff. But for us as coaches, can you give us any advice as to how we can speak kind of, I don't know if it's in layman's terms or whatever it is, to like get through to the people who not only don't value their health, but don't even really value themselves enough to take this leap of taking this product that is going to change their lives?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I will say in a couple parts. Number one, you can't change anybody unless they're willing and ready to change. So divvy your time up based on that. Because listen, vulnerably speaking, I have a mother who I have given everything to in terms of infinite amounts of Shakeology, had chefs create her food for her. She's in a small town in Minnesota, done everything I physically can. But the thing is, I have to come to the understanding that some people just require a different timing, a different space, and they need to come to it on their own. Okay, so that's part one to the answer. So if people, don't beat yourself up if you truly are aware that these people have no interest in changing. Those people, by you living your passionate, truthful, healthy life, will continue, if they are close in your life, will continue to get the invitation, and actually, if they push it away, will be annoyed by it if they're unwilling to change their own life. That is not your concern. Your concern is to live the life that you desire. Now, I will say this. Healthy habits is not about healthy habits per se. It's about what they're able to do for you. What are they able to do for you? They're able to lessen the strain and the stress and the chronic problems of your body. It's not about the body. It's about you living the kind of life that you want. And that is, if you have a body that's not functioning well, if you were sick last week, well, how much of your dreams are you focused on? No, you're focused on being sick, but we're running around with so many people that are so sick. And I get it. I'm from a small town. People don't even know what they don't know. But if you continue to live in the habit of your healthy choices, people will magnetize to you if they're ready. And you can create invitations for people. I love asking people questions. Use the power of a question instead of statements. Use the power of, like, how are you feeling today? What's going on? How is are you sleeping well? Are you recovering well? Do you work out? Get to know people. And then, hey, if the invitation is there, then say, because oftentimes if you're that catalyst and if you're that light for them, they will simply ask you. They love being heard. So when you ask a question, listen to them. When a person is heard, they feel closer to you. So when they feel closer to you, probably very shortly, they will ask you a question. And then you got them. As soon as they ask you a question, now basically they're saying the subtext is, they have something that I desire. And then poof, that's where the invitation is. I have never sold anything in my life, ever. Because I've been in this world for so long. As soon as I talk about something, then it's an invitation for people, because I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. It's not my bother that you guys drink Shakeology every day. You're insane not to, from my point of view, but I'm not going to call you insane. That's your deal. That's your wrestle with yourself. That's your wrestle. Well, it's expensive. I should ration it. From my point of view, these botanicals that we've worked so hard to get into that shake, you can't not afford to get those in your body, because you'll pay for it eventually. You'll pay for your health eventually. So anyway, more tangents, but I hope that was a bit helpful.
It absolutely was. Amen. And I'm glad I'm recording this, because I want to play this on a loudspeaker to our team.
Yeah.
It's giving us the permission to do what we do and do it with passion and not take on the weight of everyone else's world. It's not our responsibility.
Exactly. Just move with openness and non-judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Move with openness, non-judgment, and a constant invitation for people. And just be there. Be a good person. Mm-hmm. Good people always get better results all the time. Even if you get hit with crap, because we all do living in this world, it's what you do. You know this. It's how you respond to that. So when you get the next person who's giving you crap about this expensive shake that they know nothing about, just smile and move on. There's people that can help, that you can help, you know?
I was going to ask you about that objection of price, but I feel like you've covered it so beautifully in both giving us the, why Shakeology is upper echelon and why it's the value of it. And you said it like perfectly. What is the cost if you don't embrace this and change your life and get this into your system? And I think that hits the nail on the head for all of us who struggle with that price objection. It's like focusing on the value, not the price.
Well, listen, all things, eating organic, eating things that are non-GMO, eating things that don't have pesticides and herbicides and all of that, and willing to pay a little more, going to bed early, choosing to drink better water, all of those things have a price, right? If you make money the value, then that is to the extent at which you can dream. Because if you aren't willing to dream of a healthy, vibrant body and or wanting to be a gajillionaire or whatever it is that you want, if you don't allow yourself to dream and perceive what that's like, then you limit that. And so many people say, I can't afford it. Then you just said to the entire universe, I can't afford it. So therefore, that's not meaningful for me. And that's the commandment that you just made. For me, I'm like, if I desire something, certainly with food, I'm crazy with food. I never look at a price. I said, for me, I was like, the last thing I'm going to, get frugal on is the stuff that's going in my vulnerable body. That's the last thing. Like, let me get frugal in all the other ways. Let me not buy that car. Let me, maybe not, get that hotel that's 5-star. Let me get a 3, you know what I mean? But food, man, like that's your insurance for not only feeling great in the moment, but also feeling great in the 5 years that's going to cruise by, and the 10 and the 20 and the 15. And when your kids are 15 wanting you to play and your back's hurt and you can't move, like, man, I just don't. So the point here is that I just don't skimp on cost of the things that I'm ingesting in my body. So to reiterate that is that is point number one. Point number two is we back up at Beachbody everything. Quality assurance, sending people around the world, testing, auditing, all of that stuff. If another competitor company can't do that, then I wouldn't trust them. And just because they can turn the label over unfortunately, it doesn't really mean much. Doesn't. Just because one product has ashwagandha and the other one does, well, you don't even know. They don't even know maybe what they're testing, the active compounds. So you're getting kind of this neutered botanical, when at least you're coming here, you're coming home to Beachbody and going, listen, these guys are testing it. They're out in the field. They're doing their stuff. I trust that. And at the end of the day, by you drinking it, feeling good, and then taking care of the rest of your body, because it's like there's not a panacea here. Apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, also drinking healthy water every day and sleeping well and adding in your superfoods with your shake, all of that comes together. That's what creates a super life. That's what creates, again, I will say, I don't want to live a life where I'm dictated by my limits of my mind and the limits of my body. Eventually the body will wear out. But I tell you what, I'm going out like moving and shaking and creating and never stopping, never retiring. I just don't want the body to be the result of stupid choices that I made because I couldn't afford it. So that's me. And that's just check your points of view. It's really important. Check your points of view of what you even believe about money as it relates to the thing that's going to get you healthy or not, if you're capping it by, because you have a stupid point of view about money and stopping you from health, then I really would shift your priorities.
Totally agree.
I'm on like, this is like a night of tangents right now.
No, you're on a roll. That's what you're on. So you touched on Superlife, like that. You started to touch on the health side of Superlife and the financial mindset, the perspective. Can you talk to us more about that? Like, what is, for all of us as coaches, what does that look like? How can we be living up to our potential, living our Superlife?
Yeah, well, listen, I came up with that because that's what I cared about. I cared about listen, I don't know what goes on after we die. I don't know if you're someone who believes in reincarnation, you get to be someone else, or you lived as Cleopatra. But here's the deal, or the gates of heaven, whatever it is irrelevant to this existence right here, right now. So I said to me, I want to live, and I said this maybe when I was like 16 years old, I want to live the life that's super, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever that means to you. I want to live in that way. And there's no way that I'm ever going to reach the fullest potential, but I am going to continue to do that. So Superlife is about being willing to look at your life and know what's working and know what isn't, so that you can shift it. If you aren't willing to see places where it isn't working, relationships, finances, work, whatever, if you're unwilling to see and just suffer through that, you won't have the access to the kind of life that you truly want. So obviously, working out, health and nutrition, a good attitude, a good point of view about your life, maybe some sort of meditative spiritual practice. It's proven in the blue zones around the world that the healthiest, happiest people in the world have all of those things in place, and eat sensibly, and don't eat too much, don't eat anything processed. So Superlife is about looking at the balance of your life and what you want your life to be. And the thing that I will say is that is an active process. It doesn't just show up like the lottery. You don't just all of a sudden win the lottery. And by the way, those people are miserable. 1% of those people actually have a cool life afterwards. Mostly within a few years, they're miserable. They haven't created the balanced network of their life in order to receive the abundance, right? So it's really about you deciding and choosing what it is that you want, be willing to dream outside of the cap of your point of view. Most people, if you ask them, what do you really want? They will give you all these excuses, and they won't even, well, that costs money, and that's the thing. I really would like this, but I just don't, my job right now, I just don't have enough. And all, like, oh my God, I just asked you to say what you want and be willing to dream. The thing that I would say is I started cultivating that in my pretty much my junior year in college. I started waking up at 4 a.m. and I started creating a morning routine. And I said, listen, if I don't get active, then life comes at me and I'm reacting. So I'm going to shift this whole deal. What do I want? What do I need to do that? What are the actions that I can take on a daily basis? Just the act of writing things down and believing, actually feeling the dream, feeling it, would start to create massive movement in my life. And largely how I ended up having such an amazing life that there's no way I would have been able to think that I'm a superfood hunter traveling around the world creating this amazing product unless I was willing to cultivate the desire of dreaming, but not dreaming, I hope it happens, feeling it, seeing it, and then writing it on a daily basis, taking action towards it.
Yes. Yes, that's something that we really try to work so hard on, but I love that you talk about having like a morning practice or something that's habitual and ritualistic for you so that it becomes a part of your norm versus something that's like pulling teeth for people. You know, it's hard to do something when you're constantly starting over.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you because I know what you have going on now and all the incredible things you're working on, but the more I hear you talk about this stuff and kind of starting that in college, how did you get here? What's your story? I don't know much about, you say you come from a small town. It sounds like your mom's still a little old school and like how she eats and stuff. So I'd love to hear more about you.
Well, I'm creating myself every day, and trying not to be created by my past as well. So what do I mean by that? Well, we all come from a place. We all have parents. We all have our story. Some of it worked out. Some of it didn't. We got hurt. We were happy. All of it. It's really about what we do with that. So, listen, I came into this world extremely vulnerable. So I was 3.5 pounds when I was born. My messaging of this world was, holy shit, I'm probably going to die. To the point where that was in my body, right? So don't underestimate the moment of birth, and even in your mother, you're receiving information. That's the reptilian brain is receiving because it doesn't know what it's being birthed into. So stuff gets locked in. So I had to overcome this intense vulnerability that I felt just being born. And that manifested, I had some physical issues. And at 13, it's in my book, I did spontaneously, again, I'm a small town from Minnesota. So when I told my mom, buy a bunch of grapefruits, I'm going to I actually didn't tell her I was going to do a grapefruit cleanse. But all I did for 3 days is eat grapefruits. It was the first time, I don't know why, I don't know where that came from, but my little being wanted to know something. And what it knew then, after I did that, was the power of food and that I had choice. And once I realized I had choice, the vulnerability started to evaporate. Like, oh, this is not set. I get to choose in this and massively change the trajectory of my life. So, and then at 16 years old, I picked up my first dumbbell, and I started getting strong, gaining weight, getting better at athletics, and then that was a choice. And then I got hurt playing college football, and then it was like, oh shit, now what? There's that vulnerability again. Okay, now learn about this stuff. Exercise physiology, nutrition. So again, it's empowering yourself with knowledge and information and action that vanishes the fear. And that's what was being cultivated from the moment I was born to even now. The desire and the passion that I have to give people access to health is so immense and in my cells, because that is what I've been cultivating for myself since the second I was born. So that, to me, is one of the greatest gifts in the world. So for me, getting back to my Superlife, I just opened up the ability to dream, and the dream got better than me. So it's bigger than what I could imagine. So getting a dream job of formulating Shakeology and having it affect hundreds of thousands of people is like telling my little kid, like, holy shit, dude. Like, you're helping what it is that you needed to help your little kid about. So that's me. So it is vulnerable. I don't get to say that often. So thank you for the question, but that's who was behind formulating. And Isabel also, if you get a chance to talk to her, she's got an incredible story of her journey as well. So that's the people that grabbed this opportunity and to this day try to keep it on that path of being the best.
And we're better for it. That is something that we are constantly talking about. You know, we have these amazing products and this incredible company and the leadership within the company, and you and Isabel and Carl and everyone. But each of us, we're running our own independent business and never underestimating the power of your story and those pieces of your story that you were able to pull out and share with us tonight. The vulnerable pieces, that goes for all of us as coaches too. Just having the courage to dig deep and find that moment of quiet to really connect with your story for your mission, whatever that might be, even if partnering with Beachbody to use their stuff. Who are you? So thank you for sharing that with us. I think to us, it means a lot to get to know you, the person behind that product that may have changed our lives. And speaking of products that change our lives, I have a special place in my heart for the Ultimate Reset. So I wanted to share with you, Darin, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, so maybe this is more for the coaches too, but when I was first introduced to Shakeology, it was kind of that start to realizing I have a choice, just like you said, like I can change my life. It wasn't just about losing the 50 pounds I had to lose, but it was about the realization of, oh, I can do something about my life. I started to feel more empowered. So when I was introduced to the Ultimate Reset, my mom, who has been on high blood pressure medication and high cholesterol medication my entire life. So 30 years she'd been on it, or at the time, like 26 years or so. And my uncle, who had been on ulcer medication my entire life. I got them to commit to the Ultimate Reset with me. Both had tremendous amounts of weight to lose, had yo-yoed, tried everything. My uncle lost 25 pounds in the 3 weeks.
Wow.
My mother lost 21 pounds, and both of them to this day, 4 years later, are still 100% off of those medications.
Wow.
On that day 21, those medications were canceled and they no longer use them. So I lost a lot of weight and I felt really good and I needed it, but I was like 26. So it was a good shift in the right direction for me, but for them, I'm convinced it saved their lives. And changed their lives and, changed mine too. So enlighten us about the Reset. Like, I think this is the most underutilized program that not only that we have in Beachbody, like in the world. I think this is it, as much as Shakeology is it. So can you talk to us more about that and how maybe we can both, like, it sounds weird, but like leverage it in our businesses more? Because I think we're afraid because of the price. Maybe speak to that a little bit too.
Yeah, well, just that story alone is just incredible. And you're right. And I say this too. This is the most powerful product at Beachbody for the time that you commit to it. It's unbelievable. And, you read my book, you pretty much know that all of that book, the principles are imbued into the Ultimate Reset. And it's really us giving the power of food and eliminating the stuff that can cause issues, and it's and a few supportive supplements, and it's really that simple. I think where people it's harder for them is we still have this quick fix thing. Shakeology is such a great catalyst because we work so hard for it to taste good and overcome the botanicals that are often not tasting that good. So it's easy to kind of drink that and eat that. When you're talking about people changing their habits, they think they're going to just die. And so there's that kind of internal storytelling that you tell yourself that you can't do it, but you're a prime example. When you do that, and when you break habits and start new ones that align better for your body, the body is unbelievable, right? It knows how to heal. It knows how to cleanse. It knows how to repair. It knows how to optimize itself. This is not rocket science. This is sound research and no-brainer type of information here. We have 100,000 research articles on plant-based eating, for God's sakes, with the most overwhelming evidence that shows all of the goals that people want. I want to feel better in my brain. I want to lose weight. I don't want to have aches and pains. Well, guess what? It's eating well and eating a variety of plant-based foods. And now, yeah, if you go off and you eat your things, hey, that's on you, and that's fine. And you can integrate, meat products in if that's what you want to do. But there is such a power to the ultimate reset. And it really, when you look at your life, you look at your parents, right? So they've been suffering for 3 decades. That, to me, 3 decades of suffering that is not necessary. Not necessary. The majority of the chronic problems on the planet are unnecessary suffering. Of course, everyone has different results on the ultimate reset, so that there's no claims. But you're giving your body a chance to do what it is that it knows how to do. And I guarantee you, it's going to be in alignment with what it is that you want your body to be and feel and release and all of that stuff, and send you on the trajectory. My goal is that people start the ultimate reset and never leave it, that they integrate that understanding of the ultimate reset and continue down that path, and they will never be without the ideal aspects of their body. So again, we're all individuals. So some foods work better for others, and you got to play with that and use your knowing and use your intuition and all of that stuff. But you're right. The ultimate reset, I will go down saying, is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful program that we have at Beachbody, bar none, for that period of time and for the amazing change that it could be a catalyst for in your body.
I've changed the way I eat since doing that program completely, and the way I view food and my relationship with food and with my health and everything. But I have one of the funniest memories from when we started. I'm sitting at the table. My mom, my uncle, and I would like prep food together on Sundays to get things ready for the week and really hold each other accountable during those 3 weeks. And the first night we're sitting there, and I think it was salmon dinner on the first night. And my uncle's, I look across the table from him, and he's like, if I chew this 33 times, I've liquefied my salmon. So we've just like little things like that, like chewing the food when it, before, not swallowing your food whole, like we're, accustomed to doing, and shoveling food in and being conscious and aware while you eat and all those things. I just think it's so incredible, and something that I wish more people would just give a chance to, because it's so life-changing. It's not about the 21 days. It's about everything that happens after the 21 days.
Absolutely.
So we're all, we come from all walks of life on this team, all different ages, and some are busy moms and dads, or corporate employees, or teachers, or some of us are trying to escape the rat race and make this a full-time gig, while others of us already have it as such. Can you give us maybe a few actionable things that when we leave this call, maybe starting tomorrow, that we can either, incorporate into our routine, or mindset things, or tools that you know of, apps that you use, like books that you've read, anything that's like Darin says, you've got to do this, you got to try this, you got to incorporate this to make your life better, to grow as a person, to grow as a business owner, whatever, anything in that world of just betterment.
Wow, that's yeah. You've got an hour.
Yeah, sure.
But again, I would say some of the similar things that I said was morning routines. If you look at every successful person, have a morning routine. Start your day on your terms, with your dreams, with your action, and be willing to dream and just let yourself have that space. That will open up a channel inside of you that will basically be a magnet for the universe and will open up opportunities to you. If we're shut off and we don't even know what we truly want, I'm saying like at the core of my being, I'm not talking about it's okay to say I want this house and all that stuff. I think that's a sub goal of the real mission. Like the real mission for me is to continue to create access and find botanicals and foods and inspirations so that people live their super life. That's one of my many internal goals. So that morning routine is huge. And I just can't stress that enough. Give yourself that time, that peace. This is why I still every day wake up between 3:30 and 4. And my dog comes in. He knows the routine too. He chews on his bone and lays down, and I do my thing, and I write and I meditate and I do my stuff. I would say that's probably the most important thing to do. Eliminate the people in your life that don't want to support you dreaming. Or at least here's something. Sometimes just for you, just for fun, don't tell anyone. Okay, so I know intimately who can receive some of the things that I'm going after, right? Others, I just keep my mouth shut. Because if you start babbling about what it is you want to everybody, most people come from a negative point of view. You can't have that, and then they put this kind of, it's almost you feel slimed. I'm sure you all can relate to that. You were really excited, and then you said something. Hopefully not your spouse, but that happens, right? There's some things I just don't say to anybody, but I'm still internally taking action. I may even take outside action too when I'm clear. So I would be precious with your dreams, write them down, be aware, and then just that circle of friends that and relationships and family that you can share that with, just be aware of that. It's a precious thing that you want to bring in the world. Don't get squashed by that. So I think those are some two very powerful things. There's many other things that I would say are in line with that. But for me, in terms of practicality, I always know when I'm working out, who I'm working out with, if I am, where I'm going to do that. And the thing is every day. So along with my meditation and stuff, I get very practical. Okay. What's my schedule today? Where am I going? What am I doing? What food am I bringing? How much water do I have with me? I always, and this is not something that I have to sit there and it's like so habitual that after time, you just will take care of yourself. And that is nurturing for you. So like, as knew on the Ultimate Reset, it feels heavy because you're like, oh my God, I got to prepare this. I got to do it, because you just don't have the habit of setting yourself up to nurture yourself. I don't think about it. I actually spend less time thinking about my health and nutrition than I bet you all of you, because it's so subconscious that now I'm freed up because I know that I'm grabbing my water. I know that I'm grabbing my food. It's already in my consciousness. But in order to get there, you need to create the habits and replace the habits with the bad ones. And it may feel uncomfortable, but guess what? If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you won't get your dreams. And then you'll just be in the addiction. And I use that word consciously. You'll be in the addiction of, I almost will get there. And you're kind of posing as you're doing it, and you're not really doing it. So the courage is to do something that you care about and that you want to create in the world. That's courage. And not everyone will get it. Not everyone will support you. And who gives a shit? Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's between you and you. Between you and your creator, your God, your universe, whatever it is that it's an intimate thing, and it's an intimate language. I really mean that too. There's a language, I think, that we miss, that this intuitive, nurturing dream desire part of ourselves that we all need to nurture and listen to in spite of everyone else. So that is cultivated. I really believe it was cultivated through my morning routines. Really, that deeper sense of me that would talk and know what I wanted to dream and be and do and create. So
thanks for sharing that with us. And what you might call a morning routine is what many of us would call a middle of the night routine, Darin.
Yeah.
But I couldn't agree more after working with a life coach and reading different books from other successful people and trying to take bits and pieces from what they do. They all have that. They all have their morning ritual, their morning routine, and they make it exactly what you said, so ingrained in them that it's no longer like, it's not even a routine. It just is. It's who they are, what they do when they get up. And
exactly.
Amazing. So I wanted to personally just thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for having the courage to do what you do and just paying that forward to all of us. And because of you, and I know that Beachbody was the vehicle, Carl gave you that vehicle, but you're the one out there literally in the fields, in the trenches, finding the best quality ingredients so that we can live our best lives. So we'll toast to you tonight. And we're so grateful, and for taking the time to be here with us tonight. It's so awesome to have you. You're obviously welcome here anytime, but we're so grateful. This was amazing, and I think you hit the nail on the head, not just in the world of health and nutrition, but so far beyond just that. And I think, are you standing right now? Yeah. See, there, like, you live it 100%. Just like, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I just don't see another way.
Yeah.
It's the way it's got to be, for sure. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And it's always a pleasure to share. And and all of you, I hope you gain something from it. And truly, from my soul to your soul, I want you to have an extraordinary life. So yeah, thank you.
And thanks for reminding us to dream again. I think sometimes it's easy to forget. So
it is.
Appreciate that. Thank you everyone else for coming on tonight with us too. This was an amazing call. It was recorded, so I'll be posting it in our team page. And Darin, if you need it, we'll pass it along. Thank you everybody. Have an awesome, awesome night.